What is a cult? How can you tell the difference between a regular church and one which would be defined as a cult? Well, somebody who has, recently been to a conference on this very topic, National Director of New Zealand Christian Network, Reverend Dr Stuart Lange. Stuart, kia ora, good morning.
Kia ora. I didn't actually go to a
Oh,
conference,
didn't
but I've
you?
heard about it. No, I didn't go to that. I've gone to other conferences, but not on cults.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure that you are an expert on this topic because one of the things about cults is, I suppose, deciding who's in and who's out and who gets to decide.
Mm,
And what is, I suppose, the general orthodoxy and diversity within denominational belief.
mm.
And, well, no, this is actually dangerous belief, and it's a danger to the freedom and spiritual safety of those who belong to that organisation.
Yeah, I just three words that will start with C: controlling.
Okay.
A group that is controlling, coercive, and closed.
Mm-hmm.
Would I think sum it up? Some of these are. And there was this decult conference in Dunedin, and quite a
Okay.
lot of publicity about it. And I was interested. They're very clear that it's not just religious groups that can be cults.
Okay.
There can be doomsday cults. There was that one of the UFOs in the States and so on. They were going to get onto a meteorite and they all committed suicide in the end.
Yeah.
There can be sex cults, Centrepoint, political cults. And of course, a lot of them are Christianity or some other religion sort of gone wrong, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
It's important to be able to decide what is and what isn't, and I love that the three C's. If you give them to us one more time, it's
Controlling, coercive, and closed.
Yeah,
I mean, there's much more that could be said, but
it's
those are three that occur to me. Yeah,
it's a very good place to start. One of the tricky things, of course, is for faith groups that are cults. They're not going to call themselves that. That's not going to be on the label. They would see themselves as orthodox, or perhaps see themselves as the only true way. Is that
Well,
a bit of a clue
to
there?
put another C in there, they're often covert about they're deceptive and really about what they're on about. They don't say we're in a cult, we're crazy. There's another C. Come and join us.
Yeah.
It'll they don't do it that way.
Talking about
They say come and join us, but they don't say what they are really.
talking
So
about the control aspect of it, sometimes not just controlling what people believe, but often with a cult, a warning sign is controlling every aspect of a person's life, including
yeah.
who they associate with.
Well, I mean there are various characteristics of a cult, but I mean they're unusual extreme beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, really out there. Not beliefs that everybody holds. They say we alone have the truth. So that's a danger sign straight off.
Yeah.
If they say we alone have it. And there've been cults for, forever,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And so but yes, strong degree of indoctrination, which is part of the control thing and the bolstering those beliefs, extreme beliefs. But yeah, often a very domineering, authoritative leader, demanding unquestioning loyalty, belief in the beliefs, loss of where it's residential, loss of personal freedoms, handover of money,
Yeah.
property, sometimes sexual submission as well to the leader. That's a common thing. Use of fear, threats, punishments, isolation from the world, cutting off ties with family, with friends, with media, with society, with outside work, all that stuff, in deception. So those are all part of the toolkit
Yeah.
of cults. Yeah.
Of course, again, if you put that on the label, nobody would join. The other aspect of it is that the cults can be very alluring, can be very attractive, even for people that have grown up within the church.
Well, they offer, I think, meaning, a sense of collective identity, maybe an escape from difficult circumstances.
Yeah.
Following a cause, having a great, attractive leader, living in community. These could be all very attractive, or people just are born into it.
Yeah.
And so they follow what's there.
One
And of course, the other thing is that cults are there are really, really bad cults.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Jones and the UFO one and Manson and all those sort of things. And there are others that are more benign,
Mm-hmm.
but churches or movements that have cult-like tendencies. So they're not quite there,
Yeah.
but there are aspects of some of the things. But if you try to say are they a cult or not, they might hit one or two or shades of one or two of those characteristics,
Okay.
but only to some extent.
Yeah.
So it's
A bit of a spectrum in that regard, and I think one of the dangerous things about cults is that there are some people, especially if they're outside of any faith community, that put even Orthodox Christianity in the same category as that these people are being impacted by mind control, that they're believing that they have an exclusive set of beliefs, that the way in which the outside world sees Christianity generally is cultic, and so I suppose it inoculates people against the authentic faith.
Oh, I mean, primarily they do harm to the people in it,
Yeah.
even though they may not realize they've been harmed. But 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 they also are hugely negative publicity for just normal Christian churches,
Yeah.
which are not cults and never would be. And I think it's the different all of those things where there's kind of checks and balances on leaders.
Mm-hmm.
There's an emphasis on offering the faith, but not being coercive.
Yeah.
So too much pressure is just wrong. Threats, fear, inculcating fear in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
I mean, we should have a healthy fear of God, but not that kind of controlling fear. And this is the invitation. This is respond to this. We encourage you to follow God with body, mind, and soul.
Yeah.
But we're not controlling you. We give ourselves over to a knowing, voluntary, and clearly life growing following of Christ.
Yeah.
And so the different fruits and a different spirit in which churches should approach. Yeah.
Stuart, I know there'll be people listening to this today who either have been involved in a cult previously or have family members that they're very concerned about who are in a group which, gosh, they're not sure whether it's a cult or not. What This is a very tricky situation. What advice would you give for somebody who has concerns in this area, Stuart?
Well, for those who are in or have been in a cult,
yeah,
I mean, if they can get out, that's good, but that's very costly.
Mm-hmm.
And my observation, and I know people like this, it takes a long time for them to reorient themselves to life and to a faith and to churches which is not coercive,
yeah,
which is kind of open and free and voluntary. It takes there's enduring after effects of being in a cult.
Mm-hmm.
For those who have friends or family who they fear are in a cult, I've heard the advice: keep the channels of communication open.
Okay.
Don't be accusatory, because somebody who's in a cult has been indoctrinated to believe that this is true and all the world is evil and satanic or whatever. And so to confound that and to respond with love and with continuing relationship despite the impediments to that, I think is probably good advice.
Yeah. It can be dangerous, I suppose, to put the friend or family member in the position where you're forcing them to choose because you might not like the way that the decision goes, and then.
But to be a trustworthy and positive and loving person outside the cult, kind of undermines in a good way the type of conspiracy thing that everybody outside of the cult is evil and satanic and out to get you.
Yeah, and of course prayer an important response to this, both for those who are recovering and praying for others.
Mm-hmm.
Stuart, really appreciate you raising this important topic. Sorry that I said that you'd gone to a conference, but there was a conference recently, and there are resources out there. If this is something which is affecting or has affected somebody's life, there is a support that can be given through local churches, and I'm sure there's good resources online as well. Stuart, thank you so much for the work that you do at the New Zealand Christian Network. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, God bless.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.